just as a mother knows instantly if a child has, let's say, an illness or a disease, I think that I knew instantly that something was wrong. You couldn't hold her. You couldn't soothe her. I remember in the early days I couldn't read to her. She would not let me read to her. I couldn't engage with her. If you put a puzzle, I couldn't play with her. Imagine that you decide that you're going to rescue sort of a fox, or a wild animal, and your intent is to feed that animal and maybe provide it for some shelter, but it's just the reality that you can't cuddle a fox or get that close. And so the relationship only goes so far, and there's this sort of invisible barrier, and I couldn't close that up. It took me a very long time before I felt that what was wrong wasn't about me entirely. When I couldn't find my way to her, I had for a while become convinced that I was unworthy, that I couldn't parent, that I had made the mistake of a lifetime. I didn't have what it took to nurture a child. I was in a danger zone, she was in a danger zone, our family was not solidifying, and there was a lot of sadness, which was really heartbreaking, because you don't go 10,000, to the other side of the world twice, to Siberia in the winter, both times, and take a baby from an orphanage and think for a minute that it's going to be anything less than something you're going to throw your full self into. When Julia was about 3, I had mentioned a lot of these odd social behaviors to her pediatrician, and he mentioned, for the first time I heard, reactive attachment disorder, and I wasn't ready to hear that. Well, as a journalist, I started to say, wait a minute, I'm going to find some objectivity. I'm going to look at this as starkly as I might do a story. It was what it took to send me to the internet, to send me to the library, to Barnes & Noble, and essentially our home became Operation Save Julia. Like many children who have started their days institutionalized, who've lived in orphanages, 10 babies to a room, 100 babies to an orphanage, in rather stark circumstances with multiple caretakers, is that these children from Russia come to America and they have all sorts of behavioral issues. And they have trouble bonding. And what they eliminate is the possibility for lovely moments. An infant is separated from a parent instantaneoously, left, abandoned, and they develop a sense that the world is not safe, that they can't, that there's not that one person, the mother, to trust, that who takes care of them is random, whether or not they get their needs met is arbitrary, and even though they are extremely young and they don't have the powers to reason, they develop almost a cynicism, a sense of a defense mechanism where they have a tough time trusting. And it interrupts their ability to attach to one person, and it sets up a wiring in the child where that child is oppositional and in resistance, and in fact is afraid to be loved.